In the heart of Tehran, Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has delivered one of his clearest and most defiant messages to date on the country's nuclear future. Speaking before cameras, Pezeshkian firmly rejected European efforts to revive the so-called snapback sanctions mechanism, portraying it as both illegitimate and fundamentally unjust. His remarks come as European powers extend an ultimatum to Iran: 1 month to re-engage in talks or face the re-imposition of sanctions lifted a decade ago under the landmark nuclear deal. The president's words carried weight not only for the Iranian people, but for a watching international community. The snapback refers to the automatic reinstatement of sanctions if Iran is deemed non-compliant with nuclear agreements. These sanctions, initially lifted under the 2015 Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, had long strangled Iran's economy. For Pezeshkian, they symbolize the root of the nation's hardships. From the very start of his address, the president left no ambiguity. Masoud Pezeshkian declared, "We reject the snapback, automatic reinstatement of sanctions in case of non-compliance with an agreement." The line, brief and uncompromising, framed the rest of his remarks. For many Iranians, the statement touched a familiar nerve. Over the past decade, sanctions have touched nearly every facet of life, from rising prices of basic goods to restrictions on international banking, aviation, and even medical imports. By explicitly rejecting the legitimacy of snapback, Pezeshkian placed the burden of illegitimacy on Europe rather than on Iran. His comments come against the backdrop of renewed diplomatic tension. Earlier this month, the so-called E3, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, formally notified Tehran that it had 30 days to demonstrate compliance with nuclear commitments or face the automatic reinstatement of sanctions under the United Nations framework. European leaders, already frustrated by Iran's enrichment of uranium beyond agreed limits, argued that Tehran was pushing the deal past the breaking point. Yet for Pezeshkian, the European position is riddled with contradictions. He said, "But when the Europeans, who themselves violate many laws, claim that Iran has not respected a framework, the world does not recognize their claim as truth." This quote not only challenged Europe's credibility, but framed Iran as the aggrieved party. In his view, Europe has consistently failed to uphold its own side of the agreement, particularly in providing Iran with the promised economic relief. Indeed, since the US withdrawal from the JCPOA in 2018 under former President Donald Trump, European nations have struggled to shield their companies from American secondary sanctions, leaving Tehran with little of the deal's intended benefits.